We've just seen the Princess there with a couple of these maroon and cream coaches. Now, I popped those on the layout at the end of last week's video and forgot to talk about the coaches. Now, these are available between 52 and 56, I believe, and they're model number R21. We've also got the Princess here with a couple of these L.M.S coaches. We'll have a look at it with some of those a little later on. But let's have a look at these R21 coaches. We've also got the United Dairies milk tanker wagon we're going to have a look at today as well. So we'll just have a look at this maroon and cream coach here, R21. BR passenger coach it says here. And it was also available, I think the same moulding in green as R22. And look what it tells us about the models here. A fine series of accurate models of British rolling stock. They feature precision moulded plastic bodies which incorporate all external details. That's quite a claim, isn't it? From brake pads to rivets. Automatic couplings are fitted to all trying railways, wagons and coaches. So we'll just pop the catalogue down, I think. So here are the R21 coaches I have, but the two in the centre here are running on a layout. The other two are in what you might call non-running condition. So I believe these are made from acetate, and they have definitely warped a little, haven't they? If we have a look at that. See the line and the roof there. And this one's even split away at the ends there. Still, they're quite pretty things to have. And they are a lovely colour. I think the printing on these differed over the years. I think there's a number 1 there with a serif on it. And I think the later ones, I think, which are possibly made in polystyrene, have a very plain number 1 there. We'll just have a look at one of those. There is a little warping going on here. So the roof is a little bit away. I'm not sure whether that's just age. But look at the weight of that number 1 compared to the other one here. Just have a look at that. And the printing seems a little different as well, doesn't it, for the numbering. We'll pop that down. So, some lovely detail going on here. As I said, they're accurate in every way, these scale models. With paintworks just going a little bit there. We do have a glazing unit on the inside. A little bit of roof detail, very shiny roofs, aren't they? And the old Mark II style couplings. I forgot to point out this warped coach has a slightly earlier variant of the coupling without the striker on the bottom there. Another vaguely interesting point. So let's have a look underneath. We do have Triang's name, if I can get that in focus, here on the underframe detail, made in England, but I think they've also gone to the trouble of putting that into the plastic work there, the red plastic or maroon plastic. We've got Triang R21 and then made in England there. Some pretty little bogies on it. I believe this same bogie was used on the TPO, the Royal Mail, operating Royal Mail wagon as well. And we've got open axle boxes with sleeved wheels. These are particularly free running. So very pretty things. Just have a swift look at the other one. That's in similar condition, although this one has been repaired. There's a little repair on the bogie on this one. Let's see if we can pick that out. Which one is it? It's not that one. Or maybe we were just looking at the one with a slight repair. There we go. The rail there has been repaired in the past. But as you can see, we can hardly see it. And then the last one here, suffering quite a bit of distortion on there. It's just beginning to drop away at the bottom there. Very, very coarse printing on this one too. Missing a buffer. And there she goes, around the first radius curve and straight through points number 7 onto the outside line there. I just love the noise that this group of models makes. It's not particularly smooth, but it does make you smile. And they've all got that little bit of a wobble as they trundle around the track here. And if you want to see this Princess R.50 and R.30 tender in a little more detail, have a look at last week's video. I'll leave a link to that in the description box where we had the whole model apart and gave it a bit of a clean up to get it to run. And when I'd received it, it was in sort of non-running condition. And we're storming down the incline there. Just again, listen to the noise. I think those coaches are quite beautiful with the Princess off into the distance there and under the elevated section again. I thought we'd just have a quick look at this earlier maroon L.M.S coach, R20, I believe available from 1950 through to 56. It was the original Rovex coach, I think, which was in the first set that Rovex made, supplied to Marks and Spencer's, although I think with different couplings. So we'll just pop that to one side. So if we have a look at the coach here, this R20 coach against the R21, it's significantly shorter, isn't it? And we'll just have a swift look over it. And if you want to see these in a little bit more detail, I'll include a link to a video I made last year where we did have a look at these. So I believe originally they're in acetate, possibly this made it into polystyrene. I believe this is probably a later one. It's got the very heavy metal bogies. It's the underframe detail, I believe, maybe the same or just borrowed for this later R21 coach. I think the plastic wheels may even be the same. I'm not 100% sure on that. They look similar, don't they? So we'll pop that down, swift look over that. As I say, I'll leave a link in the description box if you'd like to have a look at these maroon coaches in a little more detail. And there she is, just running with 3 of those short L.M.S coaches and the R.15 milk tanker wagon. Now, since filming the earlier parts of this video, I've just seen online that Hornby, as part of their centenary celebrations this year, are releasing a recreation of the early Rovex set with the Black Princess, as we see here, but a new tool and a new motor, I imagine, and some short maroon coaches, I imagine, which will have been retooled with modern wheels as well. So it sounds like quite an interesting collector's item, doesn't it? I'll have to look out online for more information as the year moves on. So the milk tank wagon R15 was a long-running model, 54 to 75 from what I've read. On the ends of these early ones on the stays, we've got made in England there, and then on the other side I think we have the Triang brand name there, an R12, R15. So R12 was the BP Shell tank wagon. You can see this one's in fairly poor condition, missing some parts, but I believe the two models were developed at roughly the same period in time. So we'll just pop that to one side and have another look at the tanker wagon here. So that definite 3 parts, and these beautiful transfers. I think they might be water slide type transfers with the black outline on the red. As the model moved through into the 60s, we eventually got a plastic chassis. I believe they did have a metal chassis with this tank. You can see the tank here. We've got all one mould, apart from the end cap here is a separate part there. And I believe that the filler cap as well is a separate part. But these filler caps tend to go missing quite frequently when you see these models for sale. And again, just 8 steps as opposed to the 9 on the earlier model. And I believe at some point the made in England and the model number vanished from the end of the stays. We are struggling a little bit with the focus here, aren't we? Let's see if we can get that to grab back in. So that's one from the sort of mid-60s. I have another one in a Triang Hornby box, which seems to have gone yellow. This plastic did seem to tarnish or colour quite readily. And then I was at that show in Heaton a few months ago, and I did show that I'd picked up a couple of tank wagons, and these have made it through into the Hornby Railways period. There we go, and we've got plastic wheels on pinpoint axles still, but spoked wheels by the looks of it there. And again, you see that printing is really off-centre, isn't it? That U and the D, the spacing is quite crude. It's very lumpy, the edge of that U. I'll just have a swift look around that. And then there's a slightly different variant, still in the Hornby Railways box, And I believe this is in the 73-74 period, where they changed the model slightly and improved the printing and returned back to this really beautiful U and D with a black outline, but adding some other numbering on the side of the tank. I think that's quite pretty, isn't it? So really nice to have these slightly different variations. They're not massively rare items to collect. And then the model was replaced in 76 by this later United Dairies variant, and that's catalogue number R.07. So we'll just whip this one out and have a look. So wrestle it out of the cardboard here. And we'll just pop that down. So there's a lot more fine printing on there, and the stays have become more elaborate, haven't they? A black filler cap. I apologise about the focus constantly hunting here. And we've got the silver seal wheels, so it adds for smoother running. And this one has plastic couplings, so at some point they've changed the style of coupling a little. So if we pop that one down, we'll just have a swift look at the 76 catalogue, the year that the model was replaced. So we'll just whip this open, and we've got the price list here as well. Let's have a look at that. And there we have, on page 32, the new United Dairies wagon there. Very elaborate style of photography here, isn't it? It's very backlit, isn't it? It needs a bit more light on the foreground of these models. So we'll have a look down the list here. We've got silver seal wagons, and there she is right at the top, R007, United Dairies tank wagon. Just the 95 pence there. So the price that we had on this box must have been from a later period where it's been actually increased in price or resold at a show or something. So still, it's really interesting to see these different variations.
And there I have that group of tank wagons sitting on the spur at the end of the passing loop there. So I'm going to bring the Princess through points number 8 onto the inside line, and a gentle stop just after the gasometer and shell oil tank there. And we'll switch the points and we'll roll back so we get the last coach and tank wagon just over the uncoupling ramp at the end of the station. And if you watch when I throw the switch, that coach and tank wagon do jump a little bit as the ramp goes up. And then we'll nervously move forwards, definitely uncoupled. Usually gun couples, sometimes it doesn't. And then we'll put the ramp down and open points number 11. And then we'll move back into the station, and we're going to leave the coaches there. So there is no uncoupling ramp sadly in the station yet, so I'll have to uncouple by hand off camera. And there she is, all ready to go out through points number 11. Now we'll come to a stop just after those and close those, and then open 10, the double crossover. And then we'll roll back and push this tank wagon to meet the rest of them. Smoothly through there. I think we'll have those right onto the buffer stock by the look of it. No derailments. Don't those wagons look great as they snake through that crossover? And then we'll switch up the points. Now that guards van is R16 NP. And from what I read, the NP means non-printed, so there was no running number or wording on the sides of them. They were made up in their thousands for cheap starter sets in the late 60s. If you have a look at the insert picture, there is a little damage on the corner of the roof there, off into the distance, storming into that third radius curve. They look great all together, don't they? And effortless up there. I don't think we've got any wheel slip at all. Now I think that's probably it for this week. Thanks for watching, it's hugely appreciated. And if you look back again next time, we'll have something else from the range to look at. Goodbye now.